This video is about how to stay cool in your rig when the temperatures are in the 90s and maybe into the low hundreds. And then there's going to be a follow-up on what do you do when it's like 105 to maybe 120, because the same things may not apply when it gets that hot. First thing, for anything, know where the sun sets. You know, as the sun goes down, take a look at exactly that point on the horizon, or behind the mountains, or behind the trees, or behind whatever. But know exactly where the sun sets, because that's where you're going to want to point. Either the nose of your rig or the tail of your rig. Those have less surface than either side, so you want either the front or the back of your rig pointing towards the sunset, because that's when the sun will be at its hottest. It'll be in the afternoon, and as it starts heading over towards sunset. Number two, at least for me, I want the side of my rig that has the refrigerator, and especially the refrigerator, on the side that will be in the shade in the afternoon. So I don't want the side that has a refrigerator being in the afternoon sun, because my refrigerator just can't keep everything cool if the outside wall is 120, 130, 140 degrees. Now, in order to make sure your rig is getting as cool as possible, you're going to need to buy a couple thermometers. The first set is, about $8 for 2 pair of these aquarium thermometers, where you can put one up high or in the hottest part of your rig, and the other thermometer you put in the area that you think, as the rig heats up, the coolest part of your rig. And then the second, this is what it's going to look like, the 2 little aquarium thermometers. I got them on Amazon, as you can see. The second thermometer you want to get is one that has a humidity index, because some of these things, it's not about the heat, it's about the humidity. If you're in a rig and it's 95 degrees with 80% humidity, you're going to be more miserable than if you're in a rig that's 100 degrees with 12% humidity. And you think 12% humidity, well, I've been there out in the desert near Yuma. It can be 100 degrees and you could have 12% humidity, and it's just dry. So you need to get these 2 thermometers, because some of these things you need to know what the humidity is in your rig to see if they're going to work or not. Next is Reflectix. That bubble wrap stuff that everybody uses on their rig. Well, if you're not going anywhere, and this is a big and it's not windy out, move your Reflectix to the outside of your rig rather than the inside. Don't believe me? Just try it, because when you put everybody shows on YouTube that they're putting the Reflectix up on the inside of the rig. Well, touch that like your front windshield that's facing the afternoon sun. Even though the Reflectix is up, that windshield is going to be hundreds of 110, 120, 130 degrees. And that's heat that's on the inside of your rig. Check the Reflectix on the side of the rig that's facing the sun in the afternoon. If it's on the inside, check that glass. It's hot. So if there's any way you can get that Reflectix on the outside rather than the inside of the rig, I use a little Velcro. And on non-windy days, when it's just like that, where you can see the heat waves just shimmering off the desert, put the Reflectix on the outside and check that glass temperature. It'll be a whole lot cooler. And then having that be cooler, the inside of your rig will be cooler. So just move the Reflectix from the inside to the outside if you get a chance, and it'll make a world of difference. The other thing, the next thing to know is, when does the sun go down? If you're in a desert environment, once the sun goes behind the mountain, once it goes beyond the horizon, the temperature drops dramatically outside. And that's why these two thermometers, fish thermometers, are important. Take a look. Have one, with the sensor, on the outside of your rig, and it could drop 10 or 12 degrees in a matter of half an hour after sunset. And what you're ending up doing is, if you've got your rig all sealed up to try to keep it from getting hot, you're actually like a baked potato sitting in the desert. The desert is a lot cooler than you are, and you're holding the heat in. So as soon as the sun goes down, open everything up, and let whatever air can blow through there and cool down your rig, because you do not want to be in that baked potato after the sun goes down. Step outside your rig, and on the cool side of your rig, the side that's not facing the sun, you'll find it to be dramatically different than the hot side of the rig. So find a low air intake on that cool side and bring the air in through that and have a vent through the top. It's called a thermogenic something chimney. Thermogenic chimney, for a fancy name. Basically it means you're bringing air in through the cool and having a vent out through the hot. Now a lot of people think, well, I don't have a hot vent. If you've got a bathroom that's got a little bathroom fan on the top, there's your exit vent. It's probably on the highest point in your rig anyhow. So turn on the bathroom vent, open up some low end stuff, and let it vent out. Now, here's something a lot of you haven't thought about, I bet, is that after you let your rig get hot for a day and you're having it try to cool down, open up all your cabinets and everything. They will be hot inside. So during the day, as things heat up, have your cabinet doors and everything open so that they don't end up being heat sinks in there and you ruin some of your food or other things that are in the cabinets. So open the cabinets during the day, have your rig facing the front or back facing the setting sun. After sunset, don't be in the baked potato. When it's cooler outside than inside your rig, open it all up, air it out, get that hot air out of there. So those are some of the simple things you can do. Putting the Reflectix on the outside versus the inside was something that was like a no-brainer for me, but it was like, whoa. When I did it, it made a world of difference. That glass was not so hot to the touch anymore. My windshield was not so hot to the touch. Okay, now we're going to talk about what happens when the temperatures get like 110, 115, 118, where no amount of air conditioning, no amount of, all these efforts that I've just talked about are going to keep you cool. It's time to do siesta mode. In other words, break your day up into two parts. One from maybe a little bit before sunrise to maybe noon, 1 o'clock-ish, when it starts getting too warm. So you do as much as you can from sunrise to 11, 12 o'clock when it starts getting really hot. And then what I do is I drive into town. And I leave my rig, all the windows open and all that, but I go to a library, I go to a mall, I go someplace cool, and I do my work in those areas where I can get free Wi-Fi. And I'll be there till maybe from like noon, 1 o'clock to maybe an hour before sunset. So maybe now it's like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. and then get back out to the desert. And by the time I get back out to the desert, the drive back, number one, cools down the rig. Number two, when I get back to the desert, it's 20 degrees cooler than the hottest part of the day. And I've spent my afternoon at the library or someplace where I was cool. Kind of feel sorry for the rig. It got really hot, but you know, I wasn't in it. And I got a lot of work done on a free Wi-Fi. So that's what you do. That's what I do when it gets super hot. Now, I've got a question for you guys. Being in the northern United States, you know, the sun doesn't go straight up over the top of your rig. One side will be in the afternoon sun, even if you've got the nose or the tail point of where the sunset is. Now, my question for you is it worth it to buy one of these RV solar shades? You get them, you know, it's like a black netting stuff that costs between $50, $60, $70, and you're supposed to be able to hook it up to the side of your RV and draw it down so that it keeps that side that's in the sun cooler. Do those really work? That's my next purchase. I can't give you an answer to that one yet, so because I don't have one, but I think that's my next purchase, as to, you know, the solar shade for the sunny side that's in the afternoon. How easy are they to put up? Do they tear up really easy? You know, they have any recommendations on which ones work, which ones don't? So that's my question to you guys. But now why? Oh, I almost forgot. Why the humidity? If you've got low humidity and high heat like the desert, your air intake, the window, the door, whatever you're bringing air into, put a wet towel, a wet sheet, I don't know, wash your clothes and just hang them next to the door, and so that the air coming in blows through that wet item, and that will cool down. You can use that as an air conditioning system, and that will cool down the air coming in even more. So that's why you have the humidity indicator. It's not going to work if your humidity is like 70-80%. You're just going to create mold. But if your humidity is like 10, 12, 15%, putting up a dry sheet over near the window or door where the air is coming in will drop that temperature quite a bit more. I'd love to hear your comments on all this stuff, and I'm sure some of you have other ideas that help cool down your rig that we can share here, because I don't think this heat bubble is going to go away. I think it's going to stay hot through the end of August and into September. So any ideas anybody has, please put them in the comments below so that we can share and try to stay as cool as we can on the least amount of money possible. All right, so I'll keep posting if you keep watching. Thank you very much. Bye.